and welcome to On the Go with AAUW. I'm your host, Jane Hess. What exactly is diversity, and what does diversity in the workplace really mean? Are we talking about just races and cultures all working together, or is it everything? Is it something as simple as a morning person trying to get along with a non-morning person? Well, the answer is both, and really everything in between. And our host today, Kelly Borrello, or our guest today, excuse me, Kelly Borrello, is the president of World Reach Consulting. She works with organizations to show them how diversity can strengthen an organization and add to their bottom line. So, Kelly, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Jane. It's a pleasure.
We have been trying to get you on this show for a long, long time.
And I'm very happy to finally be here.
Yeah, well, good. And traffic was particularly awful today, so...
Just Washington metro area traffic. You gotta love it.
We got it.
Love it.
Now, what exactly is diversity?
Okay, it's a good question you should ask. Just like you said in your intro, diversity is all of those things. What we in the diversity field like to say in a broad sense about diversity is that it's about all of our human differences. It's about everything that makes you up a person. It's about how you live in this world. So we like to consider diversity as dealing with issues with ethnicity, with your cultural background, with your style of work, with your preferences, and just a broad view of diversity.
Now, when you say broad, I look at this as like really broad, like the introverted people and the extroverted people, and the process people and the bottom line people, and the morning people and the not morning people. So does all that count as diversity?
Absolutely. And when you think about the type of work I do with going into organizations, all of those factors are extremely important to consider when you're trying to do an intervention to help people to understand how to work better together.
Okay.
Yes.
So it sounds like what you're saying is sometimes that creates conflict?
Oh, absolutely. When you think about working in an organization with teams of people, and say, for instance, Jane, I think you and I had a conversation earlier where you said that you're a person who likes to get right down to the bottom line.
Right.
You like to go from A to Z without a whole bunch of fluff in between.
Right.
And I said, Jane, I love you. I'm the same type of person. But then you get involved in a process with people who like to process. They like to analyze. They like to look at every angle. They like to turn the ball upside down. They like to look at it from the top. They like to look at it from the bottom. People like us often get very frustrated with individuals like that in the workplace, and then conflict arises.
Right.
Not to mention the fact that oftentimes those sort of things are driven by a person's cultural background. Might even be driven by some of the values that they were brought up with. So the region of the country they come from. Those are all the factors. It's very complex, and these are the sort of things that we deal with when we deal with human beings in the workplace, and conflicts arise as a result.
So why is diversity, what makes it different from like affirmative action?
Very good question. This is one of the things that we do in my work a lot, diversity practitioners. We're constantly trying to help people to understand there is a vast difference between affirmative action, EEO, and diversity. The former, meaning affirmative action, is about a government, it's government initiated, it's about creating avenues and opening up doors for everyone to be involved into the workplace, for instance, where diversity is about relationships. So once they're all in the workplace together, how do we get them to work better as a group of people? So it's not about getting the numbers. It's not about numbers. It's about the relationships of the individuals once they're in there. And one thing we also try to educate people in my field is no one wants to be seen as a diversity candidate. And when you call someone a diversity candidate, a lot of people feel that basically you're saying that they're somehow inferior or they're not as good as.
You mean a quota?
Yes, absolutely. So when you put diversity candidate on something, it makes it sound like it's an affirmative action sort of deal, when it's not. Because I'm a diversity candidate just as well as you're a diversity candidate, just as well as anybody is a diversity candidate. So